Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox Podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. On Fridays, we talk about the product owner role in Scrum. We talk about patterns and anti-patterns that relate to ours and the team's collaboration with the product owner. And we've also put together a course to help you navigate that relationship. There's 18 modules, nearly 8 hours of tools, techniques, videos, handouts, presentations you can use to help you and your team work better with your product owner. The course is available at bit.ly/coachyourpo. All lowercase, all one word. That's bit.ly/coachyourpo. And now, on to the show, the Product Owner Show. Welcome to our TGIF Product Owner, the Friday episode this week with Mariana Trigo. Hi, Mariana. Welcome back.
Hello, end of the week. Let's go.
Yeah, almost. It's almost. So it's almost Friday. It's Friday and it's almost beer o'clock. So everybody's getting ready to go out. I just heard from you that Portugal is out of the lockdown completely. So congratulations to all of you guys in Portugal that can go out and have fun and meet friends and family without restrictions. That's a very important, I think, moment in our short Corona history.
For sure. Finally.
And because today is Friday, we also talk about the product owner. Product owners can be a lot of fun. They can be great people to work with, but they can also be quite catastrophic for the team and the company. And we'll start with one of those because it's fun and also because we need to learn how to deal with those situations. So let's start first with a bad story. We'll go to the great PO later on to end up on a high. But share with us, Mariana, in your career, what was potentially the worst product owner anti-pattern you've witnessed?
So it was back in the beginning. Once again, we already covered a little bit of this in the beginning of the week. But I managed a team that had a PO that was also technical. So he was very deep into the coding of the team. He was very pushy in what comes to planning and asking, okay, but why will it take so long to do this or to do that? That's simple. The requirement is clear. The work is not that much. So basically, the anti-pattern here is not trusting in what the team is telling you that this will take this time or that time, and being really pushy about why is this taking so long. So that's not the job of the product owner, right? His job is to gather requirements, to sell them to the team, to explain them why are we building this and why is this a priority and not that, and making that clear. When you start going a little bit out of your role and messing with other people's work, you are like questioning if they are working properly, if they are good at what they work on. So they will not feel comfortable at all and they will not trust you. They will feel like they are not good enough for you. And of course, we all know that's not good for the team. So I would say that it was really the worst situation that I've come across.
If you had to put together a series of tips or heuristics to advise other Scrum Masters to deal with this, probably, some people listening to us right now might be dealing with this situation right now. So what would you tell them? What advice do you have for them?
In this situation specifically, you can try to speak with them. That's what I did from the beginning. Each time we had a situation like this, usually after a planning session, I would speak with him and understand like, okay, but let's look at this. They are the ones developing the product. You know that they have been working on this for years, so they know more than we do. We need to trust them. We can make questions, but we cannot go directly into this kind of details of how long will this take? Why is it taking this long? Let's adapt a little bit our speech, trying not to be so aggressive.
Kind of sharing the rules of engagement, right? Like these are the things that are okay. These are the things that are not okay.
Yes, to those and not to those. But let me share that this was not enough. So this continued, the situation got worse. And we ended up by having really to speak with each other, in this case, me as a Scrum Master and him as a product owner, because he was already feeling that the mood of the team was getting worse. And he asked me, Mariana, what's wrong? Like he had no idea. Even after all of these conversations, he had no idea. So I had to tell him the problem is you. You need to change your attitude.
That's not an easy conversation.
It's not, but it was the solution. It was very hard. I think when I told him that, I was expecting his response to be a little bit the way he had been before, like aggressive and what are you telling me, But it wasn't. It was good. His answer was good. Like he breathed for a moment, like he really got his conscience in place, like, okay.
You must have a magic touch, because it's not easy to have that kind of reaction, right? Like when you're telling somebody, I'm sorry, but the problem is you, and they kind of stop and listen. Like usually they just turn against you, right?
Yeah, that was my expectation. But I had like no other solution back then. So I was like, I have to tell him. And we are speaking about a person that it was also my client. So it was even harder because he was paying us. He was the product owner. He was technical at the same time. And the situation was becoming impossible to deal with. People were angry. It was not working for the team. It was not getting better. So we really had just to sit down and look, we are adults. It's not working. Let's speak about it, because the other solution would be this would get worse and worse and the business will die because it's not possible to work this way. But he liked to work with us. He enjoyed working with us and we liked the project. We had been there for years. So we wanted to keep him and he wanted to keep us. So, well, sometimes we need to have this kind of
tough conversations, right?
Yes, it's hard, but well.
There's a great book, Difficult Conversations, that we've talked about sometimes here on the podcast, and it's a great primer on how to set up these conversations, because it's not easy. All right, now we turn our attention to the great PO. So Mariana, share with us, what was the best product owner you've ever worked with? What did they do different?
The first one, I think, is very specific also to work with me because I'm really organized. So I love when a PO is organized and he brings all the stuff ready. Like for a planning session, he already knows what's the plan A, what's the plan B. He knows the prioritization of the requirements. But if the feedback from the team changes a little bit, the scenarios that he had in mind, he already knows what to take out and what to put in. So that's one of my best things when they are they really trust on how they prepared the planning session and what will we build next. The second thing, which I think it's a bit more rare than the organization or a bit harder to get, also because there are a lot of POs that they like the PO role, but they are not that connected to the product they are building. So that would be my second thing that I love, when they are totally in love for the product they are building, and they know how to sell that to the developers. Because the motivation on building a product that you understand, it will have specific benefits to people. It will make society a bit better. It will help people that really need this or that. That's marvelous to see inside a team.
And also very motivating, right? Because when you understand the story of the product, then you can put a lot more into it. You can even be much more creative.
Of course. Otherwise, you are coding something that you don't really understand why. And that question will come up. That question will come up for sure. And there are also some things that appear, some scenario or some little acceptance criteria that come up when you are coding, when you are building a project, a product, a feature, whatsoever. And if you have the idea of your client on the other side, that is usually explained by your PO, the product vision, it's a lot easier even for you to tackle small details that will make a huge difference on the other side when the product is in production. So being able to sell that to developers, to make them fall in love for what they are building, that will help a lot for them to build faster, with quality, and with proud of what they are building.
And actually, that's one of the things that Scrum Masters can help product owners with, to create that vision, to understand how to communicate it to the team, and of course also to the stakeholders, as we have the sprint reviews with the stakeholders. So I'll put the link on the show notes, but we've created a free video course about how to create a compelling product vision. Scrum Masters can go through it and get kind of a checklist of things to go through, as well as a workshop outline and facilitator guide to go with the product owner and do that work. Because a lot of product owners are able to bring that passion to their products, but the problem is translating it to others, right? Not just the clients, the customers, obviously that's the most important, but also to the team, and so that the team can bring their creativity and bring their best selves and put that into the work that they do.
Yeah, it's totally different when you get to a team and understand if they are in love with the product or not. It's the environment is different, the subjects that they speak about are totally different, and the importance of what they are building will be very transparent inside the team if they understand it or not.
Absolutely. So Mariana, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Unfortunately, we're getting close to the end, but do share with us, where can we find out more about you and the work that you're doing?
So I would say the first tool would be my LinkedIn profile of Mariana Trigo. And recently I am creating a project that will help people migrating into IT, even for the Scrum Master role, which is a huge entrance door for the IT world, a big step. It was my first step. So I am now trying to help people that really see an opportunity in the tech world and want to start learning how to create their own non-technical career and help development teams to deliver their products. So the name of this project is techia.io, and you can also look into it and find out more.
Absolutely. And we'll put the link to both the LinkedIn page and to techia.io on the show notes so that people can easily find it. And we did do an interview a few months back with 3 participants, all of them coming from non-IT world, and then trying to or having been able to enter the IT world, and they share their story. So I'll put the link to that as well. But definitely get in touch with Mariana and learn how she can help you. Mariana, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for your generosity with your time and your knowledge.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to remember these kind of stories. Some of them funnier, some of them a little painful, but that's life, right?
Absolutely. And learning.
Thanks a lot, Vasco. It was awesome.
One more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast is over, but there's a lot more we have to share. We have developed our own membership site where you find a community of active and engaged Scrum Masters. In this site, you get access to exclusive content and get to interact with us, your podcast hosts, as well as the best Scrum Masters in the world. Join us at scrummastertoolbox.com/podcast and keep this podcast free of advertising. See you next week for one more week full of Scrum Master tips and tricks. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.